Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another MyTeam video here on the channel. Today we are going towards the Spanish Grand Prix, and as you can see we have to do a deny driver approach or ignore the rumors. Well, I don't know, I haven't even chosen. Well, I have. Okay, let's get into this, because I don't know what is going to happen today, because it's been a while since I did this video and I edited this video. So we are going to do our activities as usual. We always have to do them, of course. And I try to do as many as possible, but if I have one that is like 3 days instead of 1 day and it is better for the team, well, then I just do it. It's not that difficult. As we are now advancing time into the next race, well, never mind, we are not. As we are going to upgrade a bit more on the durability. It's the only upgrade that we can do until the car is maxed out. It doesn't change the performance of the car, it just makes it more reliable. We only can do 2 upgrades because it's still spec 2, but hey, don't worry about it, we can do it in just a few races time. As you can see, it's spec 3, but the fabrication is still only on level 1, so that's the reason why we can only do 2 upgrades. We have still a few emails that we have to get to, but I tried to guess what I'm doing. I think we are going to the emails right now. Yes, we are going to the mail. And as you can see, it's actually the trophy from last race in Miami. We are going to claim it. And also the F1 Career Champion trophy. So I totally forgot that I had that email. I didn't see anything about an email that I would get if I won it. So now we are earning all of this. You can see the F1 Career Championship. We won it last season. And I'm really happy with it. Also, if you are watching this on the moment that I am uploading this video, so if it's maybe an hour out or maybe not, then I am probably live streaming, so go to the channel and check out the live stream. And also my Discord server is now online. You can check it in the link in the description and you can join the Discord server to have a chat with all of us. But now it's time to go into the Spanish Grand Prix. As always, we have to start with qualifying, and as you can see, it's raining at the moment. To be honest, I'm not the best in the rain, so let's just hope that we can get our good laps in and make sure that we are in the top 16 and eventually in the top 10. It can be that the track is going to dry up into Q2 and Q3, but in Q1 it's definitely staying wet. And as we are now putting in our first lap, it wasn't the best, or at least I am trying to do my best, but still it wasn't good enough. So yeah, as you can see, only P13 after 14 drivers have set their time, and going into a second lap you can see P18 it is, but we are improving by half a second. Never mind, making a bigger mistake, and that's lap over, game over, and going into the pits for a new, I don't even think for a new set of intermediates, because the tire wear on intermediates is extremely low, and as you can see, with only 5 minutes remaining, we are going for a lap here in qualifying. Still on the same set of intermediates, because yeah, it was only a difference of 55 thousandths of seconds. That's basically nothing. Maybe if it's for pole, then it could be a huge difference, but I feel like these tires are still good to do a lap. And as you can see, through the first sector we go, and it's still not even still, it's over half a second of time gained in this first flying lap that we are going to do. Maybe we do a second after it. It all depends on what position we are. You can see 1.4 seconds and we are up to P11. So I feel like maybe I can do another lap, but this was eventually good enough. You can see P12 it is, still a long way off the pace. My teammates once again on P1 as always. If I'm not on P1, he is. So let's hope that he can get pole position here today once again. Because of course it's his home race. Let's just hope for him that he can get a good Grand Prix, which would mean the world to him, the world to the team, and hopefully the maximum amount of points to us as well. As we are dominating this season, and here into the first lap we go in Q2, and you can see Fernando Alonso trying to fight with us to do a good lap here in qualifying. Is absolutely annoying, as you can see, doing the switcheroo on Fernando Alonso. You always need to leave the space, and he did that because we went fast. But this is actually just a lap that we can forget, because nothing that we can do to get a good lap in here. You can see, trying my best, but 7/10 slower than Liam Lawson just in the first sector alone, and that's all because of Fernando Alonso. So let's just hope that we can do a second lap in this car. You can see once again on the start finish straight, and we are fighting with Alonso. Hopefully he's going to give us some space. As you can see, pushing him all the way to the inside, as we are currently P9. But yeah, at the end of the session, we went for another run, as the lap that I was fighting with Alonso wasn't good enough. You can see P13 at the moment. We need to get into that top 10 if we want to get a good race. My God, my speech is not the best today, but let's just try our best, as the gap to our previous lap is already over half a second. As you can see at the moment, it's around half a second, so hey, don't worry about it. Still 2 minutes remaining, so we can do a second lap if needed. But it looks like this is a good one, as we are a second faster. Going up to which position is going to be, it's P10 at the moment, so I think we are going to do a second lap as well, because P10, well, that's not good enough if you want to get into the top 10, because all the other drivers still have their own lap that they need to finish. Only my teammate and 2 other drivers stayed inside their pit boxes for the end of this qualifying session, so they will be definitely through to the next part of qualifying, or so I feel like. You can see once again gaining 4.5 tenths, 5 tenths even. At the moment also P10 it is. Can we get into the top 10? Yes, we are in P5, so this should be good enough, as we even set a purple third sector. So yeah, never mind. Never mind, we are P12. And that's not good enough. You can see my teammate Carlos Sainz in P6. So the track is definitely drying up, and I went out too early. So unfortunately that is it for today's qualifying, but let's get ourselves into the big Grand Prix, where we will get some points, hopefully.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down into Turn 1. This is a 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through the 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out Turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of Turn 9. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Ticktum, George Russell, and Fernando Alonso, Perez, Liam Lawson, Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda, Lightning, Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, and Norris, Ricciardo, Albon, Mick Schumacher, and Oscar Piastri, Schwartzman, Joe, Latifi, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Natalie Pinkham. Now our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into Turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get a clean start. And this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space. And finding your braking point into Turn 1 as well is testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Here we are for the Spanish Grand Prix in MyTeam Season 4. You can see starting in P11, and it's lights out and away we go. We are starting on the mediums because we want a long stint, of course, as our first stint is in the midfield. So hopefully we can do something about this and get a good Grand Prix in here. But you can see starting the Grand Prix, we lost a position and maybe even a second one. Well, still side by side with Lando Norris, and at the moment I think that we can still gain this position from him. Still side by side, so the AI are fighting quite hard here today. But luckily we are now in front of Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris, so Lando Norris lost another position. I don't know, because he just didn't defend well enough. You can see lap 3 DRS is enabled, and this means that we can go on the full attack for P11 from Pierre Gasly into turn 1. We can't do anything because the gap is still too big, but we are going to try and follow him closely through the next part of this track, maybe even the next entire lap, to find a spot where he makes a mistake and then we can overtake him. You can see still quite close to him. Tsunoda in front is already getting away as he locks up, and we are overtaking him up into P11. Still a bit of contact, but luckily no damage to us. Maybe he got some damage from it, but I don't think so, as he's still in P13 at the moment, behind me. So now we need to make the gap smaller to Tsunoda to get into the points. But of course we are on a slower tire, so I don't worry too much about it. Still a lot of laps to go as we are in lap 6. You can see inside the DRS zone, and we are getting DRS for the first time here today. And yeah, we are going to try and get as many points as possible. Of course, my teammate is still in P1. You can see on the minimap in the left corner that he is already getting away from the Ferrari and the Red Bull. So he is once again doing the same thing that he is doing every single episode, as we put in a purple first sector actually, and you can see the gap to the guys in front is absolutely none, to be honest, as we try to go around the outside, but I turned in too early for that to happen, as we are going down the inside here of Tsunoda and into the top 10 we go. I feel like that is one of the best opportunities to overtake someone, because you can also you can always go for the inside, and if you are around the outside you can still go for the inside in the next corner. So yeah, we are now trying to go for Liam Lawson and his teammate Esteban Ocon, as the top 4 is really getting away from this pack. You can see on the minimap it's a Mercedes. I think, yeah, that has to be George Russell, because I have the other one behind me. Then it is, I think, Perez and Leclerc maybe, and then of course my teammate Carlos Sainz. That guy is in another league. It's not just like in one race, it's at the league of Max Verstappen in 2022, where he won 15 races out of 22. So maybe my teammate can do the same. Maybe he can even beat that record, as the first guy is going in. Is it Fernando Alonso? I think it is, and he is going for an early stop on the softs. Or maybe it's just the pit window. To be honest, I don't know what the pit window is for these guys. But I hope it's rather sooner than later, because we want to get our full pace on these tires to make sure that we can overcut them and be faster on the softs later on in this race. Already on 1/3 of the Grand Prix, and we are still only in position 8, because of course we can't overtake that easily on the track. It's one of the difficult track to overtake, together with Monaco and which was the other one? Was it? I don't know. Hungary. It was Hungary, of course. That's really difficult to overtake there, as we are now up into P3, because everybody is overtaking each other and going into the pits, as we are now leading the Grand Prix. 4 seconds is the lead to my teammate Carlos Sainz. Of course, he has the fastest lap as well. He's going for the full 26 points to try and maybe become world champion in Zandvoort or in Spa, somewhere around that, on the halfway point of the season. Getting a warning for exceeding track limits, but yeah, we don't worry about it too much, as we make some small mistakes because our tires are getting worn out. We are already in lap 16, so they have had a lot of laps on them already. As my teammate is now behind me, only 2 tenths is separating us, and we are not going to make it difficult for him. So next corner we will probably go a bit wide, yes, as you can see here, and he goes for the overtake. Of course, this is purely because he is a pit stop ahead of me and he is faster. I don't see any reason why we should hold him up, because it will only make it difficult for our own team to get some extra points. Of course, leading the constructors title at the moment with a lot of points, almost 100 points, I think it is. But yeah, we don't worry about it too much. Not much. And we are going into the pits in lap 21. It is then. So our full stint on the mediums is finally over because it was quite long. 21 out of 33 laps. So yeah, going on to the softs, I feel like that is the fastest strategy for us today. Going into the pits here, as you can see. And let's find out where we will come out as we are into the pits quite easily, 50 kilometers per hour. Losing already P2 and P3. P4, I feel like that should happen as well. And coming out of the pits really close ahead of Sergio Perez. As you can see, we are still ahead, luckily, because otherwise we would have done a bit more work to get ourselves back into the top 5. Sergio Perez is still trying to attack us because he wants to get 10 points instead of 8, but we want that as well. So we are on the softs, on the faster tires, on the newer tires as well. So we keep the position for now at least. Maybe he can fight back, but I don't think that is going to happen. As we are creating a gap behind, 1.5 seconds it is. My teammate is still in P1. He is almost gapping the last drivers. I think he is already doing that. Yes, on the minimap you can see it has just gone past somebody. As we are still in P5, we have the fastest lap as well, so that's 11 points for us. Because of course we are on the newer and softer tires. The gap to Russell is closing in quite a lot, but of course if we want to overtake him we need to be not only faster but also smarter than him to make sure that we can get past where he doesn't expect it, as we are pushing the limits here. A 1:17.3, I think we can go faster, as we are now starting to overtake some left drivers, some back markers, as it's Joe in P21. He's going to let us pass here, luckily. Otherwise, we would have done the same to him as Max Verstappen did to Esteban Ocon in Brazil a few years ago. But we don't have to do that, as the back markers let us through without a problem. And the gap is now only 1.8 seconds. The car in front, that is George Russell. You can see we are in the penultimate lap of the race. Can we overtake him? You can see how close we are. But our tires also have a lot of wear on them because they are softer. They get a little bit more wear on them per lap. So I feel like we should be around the same level. Our ERS is only a few percentage that we have left. And yeah, at the moment we are not overtaking him. Maybe going for the inside line here. Trying to do it, but we can't get past here because George Russell did a sneaky move there to put it on the apex so that we couldn't get past. And I feel like this was our only opportunity, going for the inside here. Can we do it? No, we can't. We are still behind George Russell here. You can see gaining 10 seconds in this final stint here since lap 22. But at the moment it's still not enough to get P4. Going over the curve to try and minimize the time that we put on the track and try to overtake him, but into the final sector we go, and I don't think that there's any opportunity that we have left here. So I feel like this can be it, as Carlos Sainz wins the race once again. It's not a surprise anymore. So yeah, we are also finishing this Grand Prix. Verstappen in P3, I think it's Leclerc in P2, but we'll find out in a second as we are rounding the final corner. And as you can see, it's only P5 for us today, and yeah, not the best, of course. We could have done better, but we can try to fight back harder next Grand Prix.
A real team effort then, which has paid off in spades. A great victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their head when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that has allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and stay out of trouble.
A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
As you can see, Carlos Sainz on the podium once again, together with Charles Leclerc, the two-time world champion, and Max Verstappen. Only one one World Championship from 2021. So yeah, the most achieving driver is on the podium. It's Charles Leclerc. It's actually not Max Verstappen, as many would expect. But of course, we are happy with our teammates. Unfortunately, P5 and P1. I would have loved P4 and P1 or P2 and P1. But you can see still the maximum amount of points that we could have gotten today compared to any other team. As Fernando Alonso only got P12 in his home Grand Prix. So that's no points for him. So let's take a look at the standings in just a second as we are taking a look at who got a DNF today. It was actually nobody, so all 22 drivers who started the race also finished the race. So that's good to see that the reliability is getting higher and higher. As Carlos Sainz is leading the championship with 67 points over Leclerc. Leclerc leading over 1 point to me. And in the constructor standings, it's okay. Never mind, we are still in the driver standings. A lot of drivers still no points, and in the constructor standings, gaining once again even more. 114 points is the gap to Red Bull. We are definitely winning it this season. Nothing can stop us now. And the only thing that can stop us is the end of a video, and that is it already for today. If you have enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. Check out the live stream that is happening right now, and join the Discord server if you want to have a chat with all of us. I will see you in the next Grand Prix. Goodbye.